Back in the 70s, gyms were for anyone serious about pumping iron and getting ripped. You walk in and all you hear is the clanging of weights, smell of sweat, and see folks giving it their all. None of that fancy stuff you see in gyms now, just basic equipment and hardcore workouts.
When I first went to the Gold's Gym back in the 70s, there was no female bodybuilding. It was a men's sanctuary. Gold's Gym, the first Gold's Gym was a men's sanctuary.
But what really made these places special was the vibe. It was like a brotherhood in there, with everyone pushing each other to be their best. You'd spot each other, swap tips, eat together, and sometimes even have friendly competitions.
We didn't care about the money. All we wanted to do was train together in the same gym. The fitness industry back in 1977 was 15 people. 10 guys, 5 girls. That was the fitness industry. It was great. The old Gold's Gym was like, oh my God, the energy was so thick. You walk in the door and you couldn't stand it. You didn't need to eat it, you needed to sleep. And the best in the business.
Legends like Arnold Schwarzenegger got their start in these old school gyms. Gold's Venice had this insane vibe. Imagine a bunch of ripped dudes rocking those 70s outfits, going barefoot and radiating this raw power. The reactions from people watching were through the roof, like a time before social media dictated everything. People were hooked on these amazing bodies, each one screaming hard work and commitment.
You just walked into the old Gold's Gym. You opened the door and you grew just by opening the door.
What made 70s bodybuilding different was the sense of brotherhood. Those guys trained together, pushing each other to new levels. Nowadays, it's a different scene. Bodybuilders often train solo, making videos for social media, all about personal gains and earning. But there's something special about that old school vibe. That's what old school bodybuilding is. It's the love of the game.
Keep in mind, there was only one Gold's Gym back then. It was one Gold's Gym. 10 guys, 5 girls. That was it. That was the fitness industry. Same way I was led to Gold's Gym, Venice Beach as an anointed zombie. All of us were. It wasn't about the money. It was about training together in one gym. 15 people training together in a 5,000 square foot gym. That was the fitness industry back in 1975, okay? Old school still works.
Back then, nobody lifted heavy. It wasn't about the weight you lift, it was about the flow, the mind-muscle connection.
Nobody ever lifted gigantic weights, but rarely did I see any of the top guys when I was a kid lift more than 40-pound dumbbell.
Here's a little rest. But it is not the kind of a rest where I go and make a phone call. You cannot get out of that zone because otherwise it's very hard to get back into the zone. So this is the difference. So this is why when I see guys texting, they're not serious. And this is Mickey Mouse stuff, you know. You train or you don't. If you do something, then do it. Go all out.
When I watched Arnold on stage back in the old days when I was a kid, it took my breath away. Did you ever see his pose back in his heyday? Oh my God. My breath was taken away. I couldn't. My God. When I walked into the Gold's Gym, my first time in Gold's Gym, and Robbie Robinson is underneath that light, doing a light barbell, and I'm like, this light, this magical light, this magical skylight. I'm like, oh my God, it's unbelievable. That's what got me in.
Stepping into the gym was like entering a different world. No distractions, just dedication. No smartphones, their focus was solely on the iron and the grind.
In bodybuilding, you can't think about the money, you gotta think about the heart, the passion, the love, the commitment, and the energy you're willing to put into it. That close to death, even willing to die to get it. That is bodybuilding. That's bodybuilding, that's where it always will be, that's what it always has been, and people forgot. We all went to the beach. The beach was the same as the gym. And then you went to the gym for 2 hours in the morning, then we had breakfast together, and we went to the beach together all day. And some of us came back to the gym to train again. I'm like, that's crazy.
They saw the beach as an extension of the gym. It wasn't like they went to a suntan bed or waited until the night before to put on sprayed tanning stuff. They didn't have any of that fancy stuff like what we have nowadays, and every day they would go to the beach and go to the gym. It was part of their routine. That's why they have the Olympia in September, because in June, July, August, they would lay in the sun every day for 3-4 hours. Their skin was like saran wrap. They were ready for the stage at any second.
Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Most of us prepared for years, 10, 20 years for one night. Preparation met opportunity. That's winning. And having the same mentality, the same energy, the same passion and love for what you're doing years later. That's what it takes. That's commitment. That's really what bodybuilding is all about.
Bodybuilding isn't just physical, it's about inner growth. It teaches character, confidence, and work ethic. Winning and losing are all part of the game, molding us into better versions. It's not just about sculpting the body, it's about sculpting the soul. That's the heart of old school bodybuilding. It's not just a sport, it's a way of life.
To the gym, the beach, and the camaraderie. I mean, I remember going to this place called German's Restaurant for $1.50 after the gym. We could get 6 eggs, and Robbie would go. Robbie never talked. Eat quietly and leave. How does he look like that? Never even eats. He would eat half the omelet, push it away. I'm like, wow, how does he get so big, Well, back then, we were all on meat and water. We ate steak and tuna and eggs and water. And carbs were very limited. I thought to myself, I can't just be this kid with muscle. I've got to be more than that. I've got to emulate what Robbie has, what Zane has, what Arnold had. You sort of learn that you're more than just a bodybuilder. There's a connection and a movement pattern and a class about these guys that I go, that's what I'm looking for. I have to learn how to do that. Camaraderie, and the love of the game. We were competing with each other, but still, it's like every weekend somebody was winning something. And when you're around that environment, you expect to win something too. Next time it's my turn, and I did.
থাকবেন।